What's up guys, Bionic here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're talking about breaking records. I'm not sure if this is a world record, maybe you guys can keep me in check, but with certain conditions, certain champions in other words, I was able to get the fastest possible time for the Spider 24 that I can on my account. I've been trying to figure out if there is something faster which uses the same champions. I know there is something faster that uses legendary champions, but I'm trying to go about this with no legendaries. The fastest possible time, I had to tweak a few things. In fact, I somewhat presented this team before, but now I've tweaked it to a point where the speeds should be just right. Some champions are dying at the right time just to ensure I can get the fastest possible time. So all that said, let's look at the team, the run, and the champion builds. Before we get started, let me quickly give a shout out to Smiley. In case you guys do not know about this content creator, absolutely amazing guy. He does stream on Twitch, so make sure you go follow him. He also produces content here on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to his channel. On his channel, you will find the sort of world record for the Spider 25 with a lot of legendaries. This is not, again, what we're challenging today, okay? We're focusing a little bit more on what he presented here a month ago, roughly at the same time. I presented my own video about this, but I wasn't properly tuned to reach like 30 or so seconds. So this is what we're gonna try and beat today. So let's look at a couple of runs. So when I started this, my best time was roughly 32 seconds with the team you saw right there. Don't worry, I will go over the AI and the whole thing and the gear and whatnot. So here's my kind of first attempt with how my team was built as is. All right, so I tweaked it to get to this point, but then I started playing a little bit more with the champions to see how low I can get by removing some animations. I think this is the crucial part about speeding up if you want to do like really fast runs, that you need to eliminate the useless animations, whether on their end or on your team. Okay, so we got, I believe, a time of 29 seconds the first time I tried to do this, but obviously we kept pushing to try and do some more. So let me show you other runs, such as this one right here where Renegade is going to die exactly when we want her to die. If she survives for too long, she's going to add an animation of her A1 hitting the boss. You don't want that. She needs to sacrifice. Two of the spiderlings need to not be stunned, and then she can die. But if you have more than 3 spiderlings not stunned, you might lose your cold heart and this run might fail. So you also don't want that to happen. Secondly, if your cold hearts have the counterattack mastery, sometimes when they get hit, they will counterattack, and then it is making it a little bit longer. So 28 seconds on this one, but we can still do better by tweaking 2 more things. Number 1, removing the helm smashers from the cold hearts and giving them war master instead. Because you top out at 10% max HP damage, the extra war master will count for roughly another 1% total damage. Then we reduce the speed of the archmage because I was still a little bit too fast. I was actually taking another turn before the end of the HP burns, and you don't want that to happen. So on this run, I believe we got down to 26 seconds, but we can still do a little bit better. However, let's go first over a run that fails, just to kind of show you guys that sometimes it's not perfect. If the RNG of the stuns from Archmage and Akoth don't line up, you will lose a cold heart. So maybe there is a way to counter this. I can probably play around with this a little bit more, but here I believe that's exactly what's going to happen, right? So Renegade is going to die fast enough, but we're not going to stun enough of the spiderlings. See right there, there's 4 of them, I believe, or 3. And then we lose 1, 2 right there. There goes Cold Heart. And then I think this Cold Heart is going to take 1 more hit before she gets to do her second Heartseeker right there. So because we don't have the other Heartseeker, we're not going to reduce the turn meter. And by the time we get to the end, like right there, unfortunately the spider takes a turn and then we end up wiping. Okay, so it has happened before where these two, like Akoth and Archmage, can finish off the spider after this has happened, assuming you get lucky with the stuns. So we have some stuns from Archmage, obviously from his skills, but also in a stun set, and there's also a stun set Akoth here. Okay, but unfortunately it's still not going to work. We're going to lose our champions. So now let's move to the final run where everything lines up. It looks like the HP burns either, I don't know, maybe something else is happening, but we do beat our record by a few more seconds. So there's our AoE stun to open it up. 2 of the spiderlings are not stunned, which is exactly what we want to kill our Renegade. So she's going to go down in a second. I believe right there. 1, 2. Perfect. Then we go back into an AoE stun from Archmage. Then we're going to have a counter attack, which does slow us down there a little bit. And finally, the other Helm Smasher proc with Heartseeker from Coldheart, 24 seconds. So this is the absolute fastest I've been able to do so far for the Spider 24 with this exact team. As for the AI preset, pretty straightforward. We basically have Akoth not doing his A3, or else this is just more damage on the Spiderlings, which you do not want to do, so you don't kill them. You want that A1 for the Evil Eye proc. This Renegade does not have Evil Eye. She doesn't really end up doing her A1. I think I said A1 before, but really she goes into A3, then A2, then she's usually dead anyway. As for Archmage, I tried obviously Time Slip as the opener, but also I tried canceling out the Psychic Guidance. In most cases, it was not faster because you basically end up going right back into your AoE stun after resetting with Renegade, and that ends up completely locking down the Spiderlings in most cases. Therefore, Renegade doesn't die. So she sticks around, does a couple more animations, and then it just ends up kind of like, you know, maybe even failing. The 30% increased speed is actually, I think, also needed for this to work with the speeds that I have. So I would say overall kind of, you know, stick to this. And for the 2 Cold Hearts, we have no A2. Again, no big AoEs. You do not want to hurt those Spiderlings. We are in Savage gear. You want to prevent that from happening. So same thing for both of them. Now let's check out the gear. Starting with Akoth the Seared, which is in a stun set. As I said before, this is kind of a must. Might not be. Again, maybe I can test without, but for the time being, it's working nicely. I do have a little bit more speed that I could get on the boots. So again, maybe a little bit more tweaking would either allow me to beat it by a second or maybe prevent the run from failing. So I'll keep testing this, but overall, this is the gist of it. So here's the speed, right amount of accuracy, defense. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. All the skills are done on this guy. And then for the Masteries, I kind of just went to at least Evil Eye, as I believe you're taking that A1. So that little bit of extra turn meter control can hopefully prevent the run from failing. Then we have Archmage here, which I have to remove his banner because, like I said, he is a little bit too fast. Also in a stun set, he does have relatively high speed, 225. Accuracy is way too high, but that is for the hard Doom Tower. And then with his banner, which is usually resistance, he also has really high resistance, again for the hard Doom Tower. All of his skills are also done. And then for the Masteries, we do have Fearsome Presence. Maybe putting Fearsome Presence on Akoth the Seared would help, but at the same time, I don't want to always stun all the Spiderlings, like I said before. So it's working now. I'll just maybe play around with this. One thing you do not want to do with Akoth is to give him like War Master. You do not want to kill the Spiderlings, okay? So just don't build him to deal too much damage. He's literally just there for the AoE stun, but more importantly, the HP burn. Then we're going to have the 2 Cold Hearts, all right? So this one right here and this one right here, both of them in Savage gear, 70% crit rate, about 230% crit damage. This is too much. You're already dealing that 10% max HP damage with these stats. You can do it with even less, but because I use them against the Fire Knight 20 to speed farm every once in a while, I like them this way. So I'm not really going to change it. They're both relatively the same speed, 167. The other one, I believe, is like 169-ish. Accuracy is either 230, 300, good enough. All the skills are done. Masteries are exactly the same for both of them, okay? Right there, War Master. And here's the thing about the counterattack Masteries. It might be a slight problem for the Spider 24, but it's actually really clutch for the Fire Knight 20 because when you get hit, assuming your rotation doesn't land perfectly, you have a chance at doing the counterattack, which is going to be 4 hits, bring the shield down a lot faster. You can recover from taking a hit or 2 against the Fire Knight 20 with this build. Whereas if I go into the support tree, I might not be able to recover, and then my runs would fail a little bit more often. Finally, we have not the strong Renegade, which is the one that I use for the other dungeons in a shield set. Instead, I have this one here, level 50, built to only take 2 hits and then die. That's it, right? So the speed needs to be above 150. That's pretty much it. And then overall for the rest, the skills are not even done, and she doesn't have any mastery. So that is all you need for this to work. Those are the rough speeds that I've been able to beat the record with. Hopefully you guys can use this to your advantage as well. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this a record or not? I'd love to have your confirmation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.